Mindfulness and Connection. My name is Liz Courtney, and I am the Resilience Education Peer Support person here at Good Shepherd for all employees. I work for not Catholic Community Services, not anymore. I used to work for CCS in Bellingham. I work for the CCS in Hermiston now, Community Counseling Solutions. And I'm contracted here 20 hours a week to be your Resilience Education Peer Support person. Kirk?
And I'm Kirk Ruehl, and I'm the manager of soul care here, and sort of oversee Liz's work, but really just collaborate like crazy because we see a lot of the same things. And I'm just delighted that you're here.
Me too.
And I'm really delighted that you took the reins on this session. She knows that I've been doing a whole lot of different things. I have a lot of thoughts on all this stuff, but she's the specialist. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I did give you a few rubber bands in front. Oh, I missed somebody. Yeah. A few rubber bands that just let that be the little piece to think about as you're listening to this topic on resilience and connection. We're going to tie it back at the very end, but a little visualization is always helpful. So today we're going on a little road trip, the road trip of life, one that we're all on. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Next slide. This is our journey. And specifically, could I see by a show of hands how many people have ever gone river rafting? Okay, so quite a few of us. All right. Specifically on this journey today, we're going to go on a river rafting trip. Next slide, please. So look at this gorgeous river, right? Now, imagine that you haven't yet set off on your journey. I should warn you, I am going to request some active participation from this group. So I may ask you some questions along the way. Please just type right up, okay? Because if you don't, I know several of your names, and I may call on you. So in this journey, we're going to encounter some slow water, some nice peaceful places along the way, but we also are going to run into some rapids and some parts along the journey that we're not quite ready for. So how do you safely navigate rough water? What are you going to do when unexpected problems come up? Questions? I really am curious.
Life preserver.
Okay, life jacket.
Look for a smoother path, a way out.
So look, maybe plan your route differently. Okay, great.
All my gear in waterproof bags.
Yes.
When we get wet, so is it.
Okay, good. Any other ideas? All right, next slide. And I don't even think those look like boats, but they could be, right? I will let you know that PowerPoint is not my strong suit. So this was an adventure for me. Next slide. You guys pretty much came up with all the ones I did. Support, companionship of trusted friends, extra life jackets, stronger rafts, the right tools, and right supports. Next slide. If you haven't realized this yet, life does not come with a map. True?
Oh, that's why it's been so long.
So everyone will experience twists and turns, right? I mean, this is one thing that we can count on. Life is not smooth sailing all of the time. So when we think about just everyday challenges, what comes to mind? And this is a question for the group. You just think of like regular little bumps, potholes in the road. What are those things that jump out at you?
Bad
drivers. Yeah, your vendor. What do you think?
Potholes and bad drivers.
Potholes and bad drivers.
Not enough time in the day.
Not enough time. Anything else?
Interruptions from kids, interruptions from coworkers, communication, interruptions.
Just
of all sorts.
just getting interrupted from what you were
Drop
working
bottles,
on.
spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, losing your keys. I mean, just things happen, right? What about the traumatic ones? Those events with long-lasting impact. The death of a loved one, a life-altering accident, the diagnosis of a serious illness. These are the big rapids that more than likely will happen to us at some point along this journey. Each change affects people differently, bringing unique flood of thoughts, strong emotions, and uncertainty. Yet, people adapt over time to life-changing and stressful situations, in part thanks to resilience. Slide 7. So what is resilience? Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. While these adverse events, much like the rough river waters, which are certainly painful and difficult, they do not have to determine the outcome of your life. There are many aspects of your life you can control, modify, and grow with. That's the role of resilience. Becoming more resilient not only helps you get through difficult circumstances, it also empowers you to grow and even improve your life along the way. So, I would like to take you a moment and I want you to transport yourself back to high school. Okay? Think of yourself in high school. Pick whatever year it was. And I want you to find a moment in high school that did not go as planned. Are you there? Can you see what you're wearing? Can you see where what the setting is?
Really bad hair.
Did you have, because mullets are back. Did you have a mullet?
They're not either.
Maybe you failed a test. Maybe a relationship broke up or a friendship disintegrated. Maybe you didn't make a team you tried out for, or maybe you didn't get into your first college choice. Can you remember what that felt like? The enormity of that disappointment. Okay. Does anyone feel comfortable to share their visualization?
Cornered.
You're cornered.
Coaches, football coaches, who wanted something from me. And it was a very threatening experience. They wanted me to play on the team and I didn't want to play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And one was here and one was there. Jerry Connors and Pat Pfeiffer. And I just remember how uncomfortable I was.
Yeah. What did you end up deciding?
I walked out. And I think I ended up speaking with somebody, certainly my mother. But I was interested in music at the time, and they wanted me to drop music and keep playing football. It was heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm. Good. Perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking about. It was a big deal.
What's that?
Especially as a teenager, when everything is a big deal. When you reflect on your high school now, can you find the good things that came out of that difficult situation? Next slide. What isn't resilience? Being resilient does not mean that a person won't experience difficult situations or distress. In fact, the road to resilience is likely to involve considerable emotional distress. Next slide. Life is bumpy. Like building a muscle, increasing your resilience takes time and intentionality. It involves your behavior, what you choose to do, your thoughts, how you choose to think, and your actions, how you choose to proceed. The ability to learn resilience is one reason that research has shown that resilience is not ordinary. Is ordinary, not extraordinary. Go ahead, next slide. Anyone can learn to become more resilient. Anyone. It's hardwired into us. Humans are some of the most resilient creatures around, right? How many times do we fall down and get back up? You think even, okay, I'm going off script here, guys, but just watching a toddler learn to walk. They continue to get back up every time. They don't give up. They don't know. They don't have that in their mind that giving up is even an option, right? We learned that later, that we can give up. So, we're going to channel our inner toddler. It can be good, right?
It's kind of an instinct of survival. It's a natural reaction,
Absolutely.
whether you shelter yourself in or.
Okay. Yep. So yes, resilience is ordinary, not extraordinary. Okay, let's talk about building resilience. First thing, prioritize your relationships. Connecting with people who are understanding can remind you that you are not alone in difficulties. Focus on finding trustworthy and compassionate people who validate your feelings. The pain of a traumatic event can lead people to isolate themselves. It's important to accept help and support from those that care about you. Date night, lunch with a friend, regular phone check-ins with someone. Genuinely connecting with people who care about you. Join a group. Heard somebody talking about like flower arranging and stuff. Fabulous. One-on-one relationships are fabulous, but some find being active in civic groups, faith-based communities, or other local organizations provide the social support that they need to help reclaim hope. Foster wellness. This is my homage to our wellness coordinator, Kristen, who, if you have not met with her or know who she is, please take the time to do so. Take care of your body. It's the only one you get. Yes. Self-care is a very popular buzzword right now, but it is also a legitimate practice for mental health and building resilience. And that is because stress is just as much physical as it is emotional. Proper nutrition, ample sleep, hydration, regular exercise. They can strengthen your body to adapt to stress and reduce the toll of emotions like anxiety and depression. Circle back to our river rafting trip. We need to be prepared for the rapids. They will be part of the journey. Fostering wellness is like putting on a life jacket. You might still end up in the river, but you're not going to drown. Practice mindfulness. When you journal, meditate, or pray, ruminate on the positive aspects of your life. Recall the things you're grateful for, even during personal trials. This helps us build connections and restore hope, which primes us to deal with situations that require resilience. Avoid negative outlets. Alcohol, drugs, overindulging on social media. This is like putting a bandage on a wound. It's going to help for a little bit. It's not going to help in the long run. If you're constantly seeking to just eliminate feelings of stress altogether, this is an indication that it's time to give your body some resources to manage stress. Find a purpose. Help others. Volunteer. Support a friend. Be proactive. Acknowledge and accept that your emotions, what your emotions are during hard times. And then ask yourself, what can I do about this problem in my life? Break the problems down into bite-sized pieces. Michelle Silverstein eating the whale just jumped into my head. Do you guys know this poem? Should have had that as a screenshot. One bite at a time. Move towards your goals. Realistic goals, do something regularly. What's one thing I know I can accomplish today that helps me move in the direction I want to go? Look for opportunities of self-discovery. Like the high school flashback, we often discover that we have grown in some respect as a result of a struggle. Embrace healthy thoughts. How you think plays a significant part in how you feel and how resilient you are when faced with obstacles. Accept change. It's a part of life. Maintain a hopeful outlook. Visualize what you want rather than worrying about what you fear. Remind yourself who and what was helpful in previous times of distress. You may discover how you can respond effectively to new difficult situations. Okay, so slide 14. Oh, that one. So the core elements, if it wasn't apparent through my reading of the script, I apologize for not just having it memorized. Connection, wellness, healthy thinking, and meaning. Seek help if you ever feel stuck or think, my resilience could use a tune-up in order to make progress on this road. Next slide. You are not alone. While you may not be able to control all of your circumstances, you can grow by focusing on aspects of life's challenges that you can manage with the support of loved ones and trusted professionals, such as myself. I am here. This is my job. Such as Kirk, such as Kristen. We are literally people that you can come to within this work environment to bolster your resilience.
In the chapel on the wall, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." That sorts of people who say, "I'm not religious," you don't have to be religious to walk in that space, close the door if you need to, and just know that you are not alone and you are beloved. You just don't need to. You don't have to any particular position. You don't have to be on your knees. And you can also yell in it.
That's right. So there's a lot of safe places, including the three of us, to seek that support, really, truly, if you're ever feeling stuck. So you have your rubber bands. Wait, before I jump into the rubber, can I do the rubber band thing or do you want to say anything more?
Do the rubber band.
Okay.
Always.
Oh.
Less is more.
Okay, less is more. All right, Kirk, I need you to come up here.
You're not going to shoot rubber bands.
Does everybody have their rubber band?
Set myself up. I think two. Yeah.
Okay, and I want everybody to pick up one rubber band that's in front of you. This is for you. And I want you to hold it out in front of you, and I want you to drop it. How well did it bounce?
One bounce.
Let's see what happens with Kirk when he drops a rubber band ball. Yes, much bouncier. Ta-da! What does this say? Connection. You guys, when we are together, when we are leaning on one another, when we're checking in with one another, we bounce back better. That's all resilience is, right? Don't be a single rubber band. They're great, they have many uses, but it's lonely. And you won't be as resilient. Any questions?
The one thing that I thought about this is what I consume. I have found that spending a fair bit of time thinking about, do I turn the news on right when I get into the car? right after leaving work, after being with patients who've asked a lot from me.
And you won't be as resilient. Any questions?
The one thing that I thought about this is what I consume. I have found that spending a fair bit of time thinking about, do I turn the news on right when I get into the car, right after leaving work, after being with patients who've asked a lot from me? Do I have blaring music? Do I have silence? What am I reading, especially before I go to bed?
Mm-hmm.
What's been most helpful for me, and I got a long way to go, plenty here for me, but what am I consuming? Have I thought about what it means?
Yeah.
And even this, the amount of time I spend here, not spending here, and I'm a generation above some folks here. And I have to limit this. I know how efficient it is. I know that this is a form of connection, but I have found for myself, watching birds in the morning, taking a walk, noticing stuff, paying attention, slowing down and showing up is huge for my resilience. Because I get too driven by what's next and I can't stop.
Sounds like practicing mindfulness is really supporting you quite a bit.
That's my evening, and here this is. I love them.
I was taking notes during your presentation. I wasn't emailing. I really appreciated what you were saying and was thinking about some things that could be really useful to share with others. And I know so often we think that we got to do it on our own because that just shows that we have the independence. We can make things happen. But there's a quote that I'm going to butcher about how, well, I'm not even going to try it. There is a quote about how if you want to go faster, do it alone. If you want to go farther, get a community together. Because combining different minds and ideas and support can really take you that much further. So it might sound great to do things quick, and sometimes, yeah, you do need to, and that can work fantastic. But when there's real challenges, it really can be important to lean on others and collaborate and make something better.
Absolutely.
I think it's good. You have someone to like validate your feelings too.
Mhm.
Like, oh, that's a totally valid reason to be mad or sad or happy. Just, to have someone to bounce that off of too. It's nice.
The science that I read, oh, go ahead. You should go. What, you about ready to say something?
No.
Really? Does anyone else have anything to say before I say?
Related to that.
Are you going to end it? Is that it? Because I want to say before you end.
I'm not going to end by just catching myself in the act of sharing when there's other people to share.
Please share.
I want to say that, let's see if I can come up with it. Oh, one of the things that I appreciate, and I've read it and I've seen it again and again, is normalizing stress.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How many times have we said there's something wrong with it? And the other thing, the science that I'm reading says that emotions are emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not bad or good. There's emotions, what we do with them. And I remember a therapist, you can't do my job without having a therapist, who said to me, don't try to dismantle yourself. When you see things coming up and threatening you or scaring you, or for instance, I'm bad because I'm stressed, salute it and send it back to the corner. Identify it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's back to your point of how do we conceptualize? It is a learned behavior to reframe.
It's practice.
It does.
And there is the good stress, eustress, right? That is motivating. That gets stuff done, right? And when it goes into distress, right? Mayday, so really being honest with ourselves about the level of stress we function well under.
Forgive ourselves.
Mhm. Self-compassion is incredibly important.
Nope, I'm not gonna get that done today. Sorry,
Sorry.
gotta go home.
Yep.
Boy, that would be good to get done. Leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world will still spin.
But that is, some people are driven to achieve, right? And we measure our worth
Mhm.
by what we get done. And so that is a compulsion that's hard to overrun because it's so ingrained.
Oh, go ahead. I saw a meme about, like what makes you successful and, old, mind frame is like your career and your salary. And now new mind frame is, are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you, this is what should be successful. It's like how you feel, not just your job title, not just what you get paid.
Yeah.
So much more in life. That really hit home.